what is up YouTube? Today I'm riding the 2023 Kawasaki Vulcan S. This is one of Kawasaki's cruiser models, and this is more of their sport cruiser model. The styling is great. It looks sporty. And right off the bat, it definitely has good amount of power. I got to get used to the forward foot controls and shifting, braking. It's got some good power down low. It sounds really good too. It's got a deep grumble to it. Surprisingly, it doesn't sound like the Ninja 650, and I'm pretty sure the engines are exactly the same. I think they're just tuned differently. But yeah, it's got a good amount of torque down low. It feels pretty quick. There's a good amount of wind blasts on the freeway here. Not as bad as the Kawasaki naked bikes, the sport bikes. But yeah, there's a good amount of wind blast here. And here I'm rolling into the power a little bit in 5th gear, and it's got some power to give. Not bad at all. This is a cruiser bike from Kawasaki, so it's not meant to be driven like a sport bike, but it is pretty nimble on its feet. It is pretty powerful and quick. A great bike for the city just because you have a lot of power down low. It's got good torque down low, and it's fun to just romp around. The clutch pull is a little bit more difficult than the sport bikes I rode today, so you do have to put some more effort into the clutch pull. But it feels good leaning over. I don't have any issues, with confidence, feeling like it's too big or too heavy to lean over. It feels great. I'm sure this is one of the lighter cruiser bikes on the market for sure. Low speeds, it's very, very smooth. On and off the throttle isn't actually that bad. It's very easy to control, so that's good. Go down to 1st gear here. Just let it balance. And it's easy to maintain speed. Some bikes it's either on or off for the throttle position. This one, it feels like you can hold the same speed without accelerating or decelerating. You just have to learn the throttle control of each bike. Seating position is very low. You can see my knees are bent. I'm 5'11", so this is a pretty low sitting bike. I have plenty of leg length still. The seating position is fairly upright, but you have your feet and your hands forward. So you're going to be sitting in the clamshell position, like most cruiser bikes. It's pretty comfortable though, I gotta say. It's comfortable cruising down the road, cruising down the highway. It's a comfortable position. I still have room to give slack in my arms here, so I'm not all the way stretched out. This color is beautiful. It's a matte green, like a light green of some sort. And then the accents are black on the bike. So it makes for a good color combo. And let's take off here. Pretty smooth, pretty easy. Seems like the clutch engages right at the end of the pull there, so. But easy to get going, easy to balance. There's a good amount of vibrations through the handlebars and the seat and the foot pegs. This is a fairly new bike. It's got 215 miles on it, and it vibrates a good amount. With the sport bikes I rode today, I didn't notice any vibration to be aware of. It feels more like a cruiser bike would, with the extra vibrations and sound. Now this particular Vulcan has one seat on it, and they said that you can get the double seat and put a passenger on here. So I'm sure it'd be a fun ride with a passenger as well. When you're stopped, you can definitely feel the weight. It definitely feels heavier than the sport bikes that I rode today. It's got some good power though. Definitely good power to get you up to speed. And it seems like it has power in any gear, which is great. So, you know, you don't have to downshift and rev it out to get the power. That's always nice. So yeah, like I was saying, when you're stopped, it definitely feels like a lighter cruiser bike. So it does feel pretty heavy the way it balances. Nothing like the Kawasaki Voyagers or the big bikes, big cruiser bikes. This is like a small cruiser bike, a small sport cruiser I would call it. Now I'm gonna be honest here and say that it doesn't feel like a Harley. It doesn't feel like a Yamaha cruiser. It doesn't feel like one of those old classic cruisers. So if you're looking for the classic burly rumble cruiser bikes, this is not it. This is a sport cruiser. Like, that's its main purpose, is to be quick, fun to ride. But be comfortable as well. It's definitely fast. There's no denying that. It's got power. But it doesn't feel like a Harley. It just doesn't have that old cruiser feel. And when I'm looking for a cruiser, personally, at this point in my life, I want an old, burly, loud, rough cruiser to ride on. I don't want such a clean-cut, tidy cruiser, honestly. That's just me though, that's me personally. I think they're trying to appeal to maybe the younger audience that wants to, you know, drive a cruiser bike, wants to be comfortable, not go super fast. But yeah, to me, this is not what a classic cruiser feels like. And maybe that's okay for you. Maybe you want something sporty. That's perfect. This bike is sporty. This bike, if you can lean it over, it's got plenty of clearance. It's fast. It is pretty enjoyable though, riding this. I'm not gonna lie, it's comfortable. I could probably do a few hours on here and not be fatigued. And I could probably keep up with some, you know, relatively smaller sport bikes, 400s, 650, 600s maybe, if we're going out on a road trip. Now I remember riding this back in 2016, I think, and I really liked it. And I still like it, but I just don't think it has that old cruiser-esque vibe. And if you're looking for that, then you're gonna have to go in a different way. But for the bike it's very nice. It's got everything you need. And some of them have ABS. I'm not sure if this one has ABS or not. But having ABS on the bike is really nice. You get into an emergency braking situation and you can brake almost as hard as you want and not immediately lay the bike down because you locked up the brakes. I think it sounds good. It sounds sporty. The bike looks amazing though. It really shines in the looks department. The shifting is a little bit more clunky than the sport bikes, not as smooth, but I think they do that on purpose. They want to give you a little bit of a rougher experience than the sport bikes, obviously. Give you some of that old cruiser vibe. But otherwise, it's pretty smooth. Riding is very easy. This would be a great beginner cruiser because it's still got plenty of power. Not too much power where you're going to hurt yourself. It's a smaller cruiser bike. It's a smaller cruiser bike, so a beginner can learn how to ride on here pretty easily. And these are pretty inexpensive for a new bike. Go look at a 1700, 1100 Cruiser these days. They're getting pretty ridiculous, so I think the value's here. So yeah, I do like it. I like it for what it is. If I was looking for a Cruiser though, I'd probably look elsewhere. Just me personally, I like the old style Cruisers a little bit better.